welcome. This is my VoiceThread. This is a work in progress. This is the free account that I mentioned earlier on. I have two threads on here at the moment. One is on conflict management and one is on undiscovered London. I'm just going to double click the first icon. As I mentioned before, this allows me to share a variety of media. You can see here, captured from a webcam is a picture of me with some comments, and I can either edit this by clicking on this button or delete this altogether. I'm going to go on to the second slide here because the purpose behind this, as I mentioned briefly, is to get a feel for some of the undiscovered gems of London which are a little bit off the beaten track. So moving on to the second slide, I just navigate down to the bottom right hand corner and you can see here a little dialog box. Do you recognise this piece of music? You'll be able to hear it when I actually upload this, but I'm now going to click on comment, and this allows me to comment on this slide, and you can see a variety of media. I can either include captions, which popped up earlier on. I can use, a little dialog box should come up here, make a comment using your phone, the microphone, webcam, and I can also upload comments. So I'm going to use the microphone and I'm going to record a little bit of narration for this slide. As you can see, when I click on this, this also allows me to do some video doodling. I would normally use a mouse for this, and I can do this while I'm actually narrating. So if I'm happy with that, I can also lose that message by clicking the bottom left-hand corner. I'm going to click on Got It, click through the Allow, and I'll get a countdown which I can skip if I want to. So it's playing, and then I just need to start the slide. Do you recognise this iconic piece of cinema music? Let me give you a clue if you do not. Are we any closer? You may recognise it by now. Oops. Apologies, that was supposed to be a H. So I can play it back. Okay, what I was doing there was just listening back to the playback. Now, as this is just a rough draft, I'm going to keep that particular comment, but you can go back and obviously perfect it until you get to the finished product. I'm going to move on to the third slide. Yes, for those of you that picked this up, as you can see, this is a picture of Sir Alfred Hitchcock, and again I can do exactly the same thing as before. I can make an audio comment just by clicking on here and clicking a microphone. I'm not going to do that in this case, but this is actually how you could, for example, add some extra narration, and as previously on the previous screen, add some doodling. I'm going to move on to the next slide, and I'm going to comment on this slide. As I mentioned, this is Undiscovered London. This is the tube map. I'm going to zoom in. As you saw on the earlier slide, there was Sir Alfred Hitchcock, and I am going to circle the town where he was born. It's tricky doing this on a notepad, and you can see there's Leytonstone in the north east of London there. Oops, zoomed out a little bit too far there. So I think I'm going to stop recording there. I'm just listening back to what I've just recorded. Okay, so I will save that, but again, as this is very much a work in progress. And again, I can have the buttons on the bottom right hand corner. I can zoom in and zoom out as appropriate. And what I'd like to do, obviously, going forward with this particular VoiceThread, is for you to share your thoughts about other parts of London that has some undiscovered gems. And clicking on to the next slide, Sir Alfred Hitchcock, born in Leytonstone, has a hotel named after him, as well as a studio. And this gallery